Budget deliberations spill into a fourth day. How much are property taxes going up in the next couple of years? Saskatchewan gets a new daycare deal. What a new agreement means for parents. And Saskatoon shoppers cash in on Black Friday deals.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. City Council needed a fourth day to pass its 2026 and 2027 budgets. With more than 100 ways to save and nearly 30 hours to do it, Council managed to shave a little less than 1% off an expected property tax hike. Keenan Sorokon has more.
We've all contributed to the numbers where they are at this moment.
Saskatoon will see one of its largest property tax increases in city history. Property taxes are going up 6.7% in 2026 and another 5.81% in 2027.
When we continue to do more with less, at some point we are asked to do less with less. And I think on weight, we made good decisions about striking that balance.
Council entered the process with an expected 7.43% increase and began day 4 eyeing a 6.17% tax hike. Then spending items were added, and some councillors were disappointed in their colleagues' inability to save money.
There's a lot more increases that the citizens are getting other than the mill rate, and it adds up, and they're having a hard time paying those costs.
Saskatoon will see the development of dedicated transit police in 2027, with other items like fire dispatchers and a new zookeeper added to the books. The property tax increase also comes with increased fees at the landfill, some parking tickets, charging for sewer cleanouts, and raising bus fares as just some examples. Despite Dubois' concerns, many of the larger saving items didn't have enough support.
I don't think we had anyone around this table voting to either cut or not add things that would add up to, say, another $2.5 million.
But this budget might be remembered for all of the items Council didn't cut. Many youth initiatives or recreation items like reducing outdoor swimming or closing the George Ward pool were defeated or ignored entirely.
Of course, I think we could have cut more, but there were a lot of 6-5 votes.
This marks the city's second 6% or more increase in 3 years, as City Hall grapples with inflation, population growth, and affordability once again. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatoon homicide case is moving through the courts. 8 people are charged in the death of Tim Tatusis, 7 of them accused of first-degree murder. 2 of the accused were in court this morning. Their cases are adjourned to next month. Tatusis was found dead on December 18th of last year. Police discovered his body while executing a search warrant at a home in the 1700 block of 22nd Street West. A former school principal convicted of assaults with a weapon will receive his sentence next month. Earlier this year, a jury found Duff Friesen guilty of 1 count of assault with a weapon and not guilty on the other 3 counts. Friesen is accused of hitting students with a wooden paddle between 2003 and 2004 while working at Christian Center Academy, a school that was later renamed Legacy Christian Academy and is now known as Valor Academy. Today, lawyers made their sentencing arguments. Due to a publication ban, the evidence, the lawyers' arguments, and victim impact statements cannot be reported. Justice Natasha Crooks is expected to deliver the sentence on December 18th. Saskatoon police are warning drivers to be mindful of winter road conditions. Police had responded to more than 35 crashes as of late this afternoon. Drivers are advised to slow down, clear vehicles of snow and ice, and leave room between you and other cars on the road. Police are also recommending people give themselves more time to reach their destination safely, as visibility can be limited during snowfall. Definitely important to take it easy on the roads, Jeff.
Absolutely. Just give yourself a little extra time and a little extra room. And we had a little extra snow. It really was one of those things where we were very close in the estimations, but we got a little bit more. We expected between 2 and 4 centimeters of snow. Got a little over 5. So that's why the snow alert has been triggered by the city of Saskatoon. And this system is continuing to bring snow to southern parts of Saskatchewan in particular, but eventually it's going to make its way into the Dakotas and into the Midwest. And not be our problem anymore. But cold temperatures are also on the way, and we'll talk about that later on.
$10 a day daycare will continue in the province for at least another 5 years. The federal and provincial governments have agreed to extend the program. The new deal comes with important changes that parents and care providers had requested. Wayne Mantika reports.
The new agreement ends uncertainty about the future of $10 a day childcare in the province. Saskatchewan and Ottawa have agreed to a 5-year extension that comes with $1.6 billion in federal funding.
And this is intended to assist the moms and dads or the caregivers the opportunity to go back to school or go back to work or pursue a career that they wanted to. All these options become available to them.
Saskatchewan had been under pressure to extend the program, which was set to expire at the end of March. The province says it negotiated the best deal possible. It includes expanded age eligibility so that children who turn 6 while in kindergarten can continue to receive $10 a day childcare until they complete the school year.
Where were there changes that needed to be made? And so from that perspective, that's where we as a government felt that when we were going to renegotiate this agreement, we wanted to try to bring some of those things to the table.
Other changes allow private childcare providers to participate. There will also be a 3% annual increase for early learning and childcare programs. It provides a degree of certainty for childcare centers.
I'm looking forward to continuing and growing these conversations and building those relationships even further in the future. It's a really good day.
The program renewal is being welcomed by parents.
Well, it's awesome for people with high grocery prices, and just another cut is always good for us. So
the target was to create 28,000 affordable childcare spaces under the program, which began in 2021. Saskatchewan says it has now attained 91% of that goal. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
While in Regina for the childcare announcement, Liberal MP Buckley Boulanger took a tour of a Regina company. His visit to Pro Metal Industries follows this week's announcement that Ottawa will offer more support to the sector. Going forward, Canadian-made steel will have better access to the domestic market. Freight rates have been adjusted with railways so steel can move more affordably across the country. There will also be increased protection for workers and businesses to adapt to the new landscape.
Now with increased procurements through Canada's budget and increased focus on increasing the sovereign capabilities here in Canada and for export markets, it's very exciting. So appreciate what the federal government is doing on that with that refocus and really building our economy here in Canada.
Up to $150 million in the tariff response initiative will be targeted to projects in the steel sector. A Saskatchewan mother is calling for action in efforts to curb domestic violence. As Mick Favel reports, she wants to see better education among residents about the serious consequences starting in the workplace.
Despite increased awareness, Saskatchewan still ranks high when it comes to intimate partner violence. Now a mother is pushing for new legislation which would put domestic violence education in many places across the province, including training materials when beginning a new job position.
Since Saskatchewan has double the national average of police-reported calls of domestic abuse, we need to start to think outside the box and try to educate our people about the dangers and the prevalence of domestic abuse.
McDonald knows firsthand what can happen when a domestic violence situation gets taken to the extreme. In 2017, McDonald's daughter, Abby Spear, was murdered by her partner just weeks after the relationship ended. McDonald says she wishes she knew more about the warning signs and some of the resources available.
80% of victims will reach out to someone in their social circle first. So that is why this education would be so valuable across the whole province to assist in helping victims.
Alana Ross is the minister responsible for the status of women. She says the government of Saskatchewan is addressing the situation, including an awareness initiative happening next week surrounding the 211 hotline, which connects people with resources in their community.
Sometimes when people are in that situation, their life becomes so normalized they may not even be aware. It is so important that people are aware that that's in place, and it's a place that they can go to get some help and some support.
McDonald's says including educational materials during the onboarding process would be an easy way of getting directly to a significant number of people. Ross says they take all suggestions into consideration but cannot comment directly as she has not looked at the proposal. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Black Friday is still the biggest day in retail, and even as Canadians cut back heading into the holidays, the demand hasn't slowed. Staff at one Saskatoon tech store say hundreds of shoppers were coming through every hour. CTV's Stacey Hine with that story.
Parking lots are packed as shoppers haul out their latest Black Friday purchases. Midnight lineups may be a thing of the past, with deals now stretched over several days. But the demand hasn't slowed.
So busy, yeah, it's so crowded, yeah.
And while many have turned to online shopping to avoid the crowds, the manager at Best Buy says most customers are still choosing to shop in person.
In person, in store certainly is the biggest proportion of customers choosing to shop because they want to feel, touch, and demo the product before they purchase it.
One shopper says she waited more than an hour to get the newest iPhone.
Mainly we are just here for the iPhone, and let's see, we hopefully get that.
Another says while she's not the most tech savvy, the deals on smart glasses are drawing her in.
They are on sale, that's why I'm here, because they're expensive.
Black Friday discounts come as many Canadians plan to tighten their holiday budgets. A BMO survey found 3 in 5 Canadians plan to cut back, but nearly half of respondents say sales still led them to spend more than they planned. The survey also found that about 42% of Canadians are planning to shop for sale or clearance items, and 38% intend to buy fewer gifts overall. But as shoppers file in and out of stores, retailers say one thing hasn't changed. Black Friday marks the start of the holiday rush. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Canadian Western Agribition draws people from around the world each year to check out the latest in ag innovation and best practices. It's also a chance to showcase the various success stories in livestock. Damien Smith introduces us to some producers sharing their livelihood on the global stage.
While a lot of people flock to the Agribition, there's no shortage of animals. A number of farmers have made their way to Regina to show off their livestock and educate visitors about life on the farm, including Joanna Walker.
Making a profit comes quicker with sheep than it does with cows. When you have your multiple lambs, that's your first lamb pays for your ewe and your feed, and your next lamb is the profit.
Walker has more than 275 breeding ewes and 90 ewe lambs. She also owns cows but has a soft spot for sheep, growing up with them in England.
They have quite a good character. Cows, I suppose, do too, but the sheep, once you get them tame and quiet, or they know what, they're very food motivated.
For cows, a farm with around 200 cattle can test your financial skills.
There's times that you'll go 6 months with no check, and so you have to be pretty good managers. So farmers are also electricians, they are carpenters, they are accountants. We're multi-purpose people.
Because of that, farming isn't a 9-to-5 job or a seasonal occupation. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week.
We're out there when it's minus 50. We have to look after the cattle first. A lot of times we get looked after second, and our kids get looked after second or third.
You don't maybe get as many opportunities to do certain sports because you're busy on the farm, or your parents can't take you to certain things like that.
But despite all the sacrifices these producers feel working on the farm at a young age, build character, something they hope today's youth will keep in mind as the average age of the Canadian farmer continues to climb.
Kids that grow up on a farm are highly employable because they learn how to work very young.
Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
And a quick reminder, the deadline to nominate someone for the Citizen of the Year award is a week away. Nomination guides are available here at CTV Saskatoon or on our website. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December 5th, and we will announce this year's recipient on December 31st. Still to come, why there's mixed messages about Canada's economy. Also, more pushback expected over Ottawa's pipeline deal with Alberta. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. The Canadian economy is doing better than expected in the third quarter despite the onslaught of U.S. tariffs. But as Abigail Beeman reports, the situation isn't all rosy once you dig deeper into the data.
Hi, Ontario people. That's what we need to do, is support each other.
Some economists say gross domestic product growth is proof months of Buy Canadian ads and measures are working even with an unresolved trade war.
We saw imports drop 2.2%, which is a huge decline in the amount of foreign goods that we're consuming here in Canada. And that's really what helped to propel the economy forward, along with some increasing government spending.
Canada's real gross domestic product rose 2.6% on an annualized basis in the third quarter of 2025. Imports dropped 2.2% and exports climbed 0.2%.
This puts aside kind of the recession talks or certainly the worries that we had about 2 negative quarters, but it doesn't really kind of take away the kind of, how should I say, concern that we have around the economy still.
Statistics Canada says business investment was flat and household spending dropped slightly. The Prime Minister picks a positive spin and takes credit, posting the growth beats expectations and we're getting results.
At the surface, the data looks good. It's positive. But scratching beneath the surface, what you see is that there's some prudence. Consumers are prudent. You see that in the way they've increased their savings.
This economic snapshot comes ahead of the Bank of Canada's last interest rate decision of the year on December 10th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The pipeline agreement that the Prime Minister struck with Alberta's Premier is risky for Mark Carney. Stephen Guilbeault, a key cabinet minister, has already resigned, and there could be more blowback. CTV's Judy Trin takes a look at the risks.
For a project like that to come to reality, you'd have to make sure that there is social acceptance, certainly if it's going to BC.
After 6 years in the Liberals' inner circle, Stephen Guilbeault quit as Minister of Culture, unable to stomach the Prime Minister's shift toward pipelines. Just hours after Mark Carney signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta's Premier, Guilbeault resigned. He said several elements of the climate change action plan he worked on are about to be dismantled, including consumer carbon pricing, zero-emission vehicle standards, and the emissions cap on the oil and gas sectors.
I'll disagree with the characterization that we're rolling things back when we've actually committed to strengthening the industrial carbon price, strengthening methane regulations, extending the methane regulation.
Guilbeault will remain in caucus. Other Liberal MPs feel strongly about the environment. About 30 are part of a newly formed climate caucus.
He's dedicated his life to climate issues, and it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle. Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Guilbeault was also the Quebec lieutenant. Now Carney will have to find someone else to help him navigate the politics of La Belle Province.
Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Mark Carney is not culturally, linguistically in the flow of Quebec. He relies on that Quebec lieutenant.
On social media, the Prime Minister thanks Stephen Guilbeault for his work in advancing sustainability. Mark Carney must now turn his attention to finding a new Minister of Canadian Culture. He could also use a vacancy for a cabinet shuffle. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Quebec's government has tabled legislation that would expand restrictions on religious practices in the province.
Because we think that when the state is neutral, Quebecers are free.
Bill 9 includes a ban on full face coverings for students and staff in public education settings. It would also prohibit prayer in public institutions like universities, as well as in public outdoor spaces. State-funded institutions like hospitals would be banned from offering menus based exclusively on religious tradition, like strictly kosher or halal options. The legislation builds on a 2019 secularism law banning public servants from wearing religious symbols at work. U.S. President Donald Trump is vowing to permanently pause all immigration from what he calls third world countries after one of two West Virginia National Guards died after being shot by an Afghan national earlier this week. The victim who died was Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. The other soldier, Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, remains in critical condition. Trump offered few details about the immigration pause, but said in a post on social media that he plans to remove millions of migrants from the U.S. Officials say the 29-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting entered the U.S. in 2021 through a program which welcomed around 76,000 Afghan refugees. There is an urgent warning tonight from jet manufacturer Airbus that could impact thousands of flights ahead of a busy travel weekend, especially south of the border. The European aircraft maker says an immediate software change needs to be made on 6,000 of its best-selling A320 family of jets. Airbus says intense solar radiation may corrupt data critical to the functioning of flight controls. It comes after an incident on a JetBlue flight from Cancun to Newark last month, where passengers were injured following a sudden loss of altitude. The only major Canadian airline with those planes listed in its fleet is Air Canada. There is no word yet on potential impacts. Firefighters in Hong Kong have concluded their search for survivors at a high-rise complex devastated by a deadly blaze.
Right now, I feel so grateful because I am safe. But I'm concerned about friends I know before. We have talked. Usually we talk, and then I haven't met them.
128 people are now confirmed dead, with 200 others listed as missing. Hong Kong's government says it appears the flames broke out Wednesday in protective netting on the lower floors of one tower and then quickly spread, while fire alarms also malfunctioned. Investigators have made several arrests as they say they'll look into the possibility there was corruption in renovation efforts at the complex. All right, Jeff, the snow is, I guess, past, but the cold is here.
Yeah, the cold is the big deal of the day now, because goodness knows people can get out there and shovel. And I know the city is on the job dealing with the newly fallen snow. It started falling around 8 this morning, or maybe a little earlier than that, and it kept up throughout much of the day. So that's what we've got to deal with in terms of shoveling. But the cold air is what you're going to have to deal with as we make our way into the next couple of days. Well, do we get a bit of a break next week? I don't want to talk about it too much right now. It's a teaser. Minus 12 degrees right now in Saskatoon. Minus 11 in Prince Albert. Still a little flurry activity in the Gateway City. Minus 14 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, the wind gets a little stronger as we make our way from Battleford to Prince Albert and into Saskatoon. On to our almanac for the Saskatoon area. Minus 7 degrees, so 1 degree below seasonal. Minus 6 is typical for this time of year. 10 degrees is the record warm temperature on the 28th of November. That was set in 2002. The record cold temperature from 1893, minus 36. The sun came up at 8:48, and it's going to go down, rather, it went down at 5 o'clock on the nose.
Coming up, Jeff checks out some crafty creations up for offers. And later, the student who is seeking smiles one talent at a time.
Saskatchewan signs an extension on childcare. Monday on Your Morning, we're in conversation with the Education Minister on what's in the deal, why it took so long to sign.
So much for coloring inside the lines. Like, just go right on the table. That'll work fine. We can take a look at downtown Saskatoon. A little bit of a flare on the lens there with some of the moisture, but a nice shot of the downtown area and the Victoria Bridge. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our satellite and radar shot here. Well, there's that area of active weather continuing to make its way through southern Saskatchewan, slowly moving out of our neck of the woods, but much more into the Southland, and then ultimately into parts of the American Midwest. And yeah, that's the situation across the prairies. Big old high is going to build in, so we're going to have calm conditions, or quiet conditions, I should say, as we make our way into the next little while. Minus 12 degrees for Saskatoon right now. Still some flurries in the Prince Albert area. Minus 14 in the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, that's Maple Creek at minus 5. Collins Bay, the cold spot, at minus 18. Currently, it is minus 11 degrees in Lloydminster and Swift Current. Minus 10 in Estevan. Minus 8 in Moose Jaw. Minus 9 in the Queen City. And minus 7 in Yorkton. A closer look at central Saskatchewan. temperatures ranging from -7 in Hudson Bay down to -14. That's in the Battlefords and Kindersley. Many locations around that -12 degree mark. It's -8 right now in Watrous and Wynyard. Up north, -18 in Collins Bay. That's crisp. -13 in Stony Rapids, just a little bit warmer in Key Lake and La Ronge, and -11 in Buffalo Narrows, -9 in Sandy Bay Island Falls. And down south, you can see this temperature range that goes from -7 degrees in both Last Mountain and Melville up to -13. That's in Leader. You can see a number of locations at -9 or -10 degrees. On to our futurecast. Well, that system moves out, as I mentioned, into the Dakotas and the American Midwest, and then in behind it, a high-pressure area, so relatively clear skies. There'll be some cloudy patches out there, but ultimately the big deal is going to be the cold. So daytime highs around -12 for northern Saskatchewan, cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. A similar temperature pattern and similar sky condition as well for west central Saskatchewan, maybe a hair warmer. And again, temperatures basically around -12 or -13 degrees for the southwest. A bit more sunshine around Leader. Mainly cloudy skies and temperatures of -12 or -11 degrees for southeastern Saskatchewan, and not much different in east central Saskatchewan. Mainly cloudy skies, -12 for Melfort, Watrous, and Humboldt, -9 for Hudson Bay. Dropping down to -18 in Battlefords tonight. Mainly cloudy skies tomorrow. Then we take a look at Sunday, staying cold, starting to warm up to seasonal values on Tuesday, and then really warm on Thursday and Friday, although it comes with a chance of flurries. Prince Albert's overnight temperature will be 16 on the minus side, -11 tomorrow, staying in the minus double digits on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but really bouncing back nicely Thursday and Friday of next week to above seasonal temperatures. Saskatoon -18 overnight as the snow tapers off, -13 tomorrow for a daytime high, so way below seasonal, and then -12 on Sunday and Monday, -9, which is almost seasonal on Tuesday, -12 on Wednesday, and Thursday -3, and not too bad. 1 week from today, a high of -5.
We took an oath to make the world a better place, and an innocent snake needs our help.
The American Thanksgiving weekend is expected to boost the debut of Zootopia 2. The animated sequel is expected to bring in up to $150 million US over the 5-day holiday period around American Thanksgiving. That will be enough to claim the crown from Wicked for Good in its which is in its second weekend of release. Although the musical sequel of sorts is still expected to bring in another $90 million across North America over that same span. And speaking of Wicked for Good, Universal is reportedly considering plans to expand the story for another installment. Quelle surprise! The sequel brought in nearly $150 million US across North America in its opening weekend that marked the best opening ever for a Broadway adaptation. Numbers not adjusted for inflation. Universal Pictures says, quote, things are underway to tell a new story set in the same version of the Land of Oz, but that there still are details to be figured out. But if it's called Wicked for Bad, well, you've caught my interest. And Ticketmaster is set to partially refund fans of Olivia Dean who bought tickets to her shows at above face value. The UK artist had slammed the resale market for what she called its exploitive nature. The ticketing platform said yesterday it immediately activated a face value exchange for the Art of Loving Live tour as a way of ensuring any upcoming resales on its site that are capped at the original paid price without any added fees. This is something Ticketmaster says it first introduced in 2019 and continues to offer to artists to resale, so resale prices can be capped before tickets are up for sale.
All right, Jeff, there is a lot of weaving and spinning going on this weekend.
That's right, and so we headed out to the Mennonite Central Committee building at 45th and Avenue C. How do you feel about spinning? What about weaving? Well, the Spinners and Weavers Guild will help you out with any questions you might have, and they'll also show you some amazing products at their annual fall show and sale. And with me today, Sheila Folliott. She is the chair of the Saskatoon Spinners and Weavers Guild. So thank you for letting us pop by.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jeff.
Now, you've got a big show and sale coming up this weekend. And first of all, for people who aren't familiar with the Guild, what do you do? It may seem obvious, but maybe give us a bit more detail.
Well, it depends on I'm the guild member, but we have people that do the spinnings. You have people that weave with the spun fiber, and we've also got people that do felting and dyeing of fibers.
For people who've never been to the show or sale, can you give us an idea of some of the things they will see?
Well, you'll see a lot of lovely items that have been created by our members. We've got, and this is a roving that people could use to spin from, also dyed, and a lot of different hand-woven fabrics. So,
and I can certainly see there's toques and there's scarves and there's all kinds of different things. Does it cost anything to get in?
No, it's totally free to come in unless you want to buy something.
Okay, so what are the hours?
We are open today, Friday, from 4 o'clock until about 8:30.
Tomorrow and Sunday?
Tomorrow it's from 10 till 5, and Sunday is 11 till 3.
All right, so once again, that is the Saskatoon Spinners and Weavers Guild. You can go to their website for more information. So thank you so much, Sheila.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming by.
All right, Jeff, time for pick of the day. What do you have?
Well, we have a triple hit, and we're going to start off with this one. And it's a couple of good-looking dogs. Bob and Barb sent us in this. They sent a few pictures, and one of them was the dogs running around on the riverbank, but we wanted to give them the close-up shot here. They took that picture Wednesday, November 26th, and it says, "Hi, Jeff, walking the dogs in the frosty riverbank." Yes, indeed. Good-looking animals there. So thank you, Bob and Barb, for sending in that picture. Next one comes to us from James Herrick. Christmas decorations have started going up, and this is an ornament given to us by our nephew. Woodworking is one of his hobbies, and he turned this delicate ornament on the lathe in his garage. That is beautiful. So thank you, James, for sharing that. And finally, from Cindy and Barry, "Hi, Jeff. This is our diggity dog, Tigger, waiting for you to do the weather." We are from the Willowbrook area and especially like your diggity dog pictures. And, well, I'm glad you enjoy them. I enjoy them, too. And may I add, the wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. There you go. A little something from Disney. And if you'd like to send us a picture, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca or scan the QR code on the screen, and you can send those pictures straight to us.
Still to come on CTV News, a unique approach to spreading cheer, how one student is balancing joy and talent. Well, this next story is about how one student has learned to spread joy in many ways. And as Adam Sawatsky shows us, he's doing it on a unicycle.
Before he learned how to juggle things in the air, Arlo Watts had to develop the patience to keep picking them up off the ground.
I like to say that juggling just means dropping things over and over again.
But after months of practice and perseverance, Arlo got it.
Once you feel like you have a rhythm, then it's really exciting, and immediately you start to think of what the next thing is.
That turned out to be the unicycle, which Arlo taught himself how to ride after moving away to university.
I find that in computer science, I often don't have to leave the house if I don't want to. I don't have to go outside.
But when you're a unicyclist, you do. So Arlo started riding around to maintain his physical fitness before adding juggling to the exercise to challenge himself mentally.
Because normally when you're riding the unicycle, you use your arms for balance. But when you're juggling, suddenly your hands have to go all over the place to catch whatever it is that you're juggling.
It's hard. So sometimes Arlo takes it easy by grabbing his Rubik's Cube, donning a clown nose just for fun, and riding his unicycle, all the while solving that puzzle, which he can consistently do in less than a minute.
I get a lot of satisfaction from working hard on something and then succeeding at it.
While finding personal satisfaction is important, Arlo has learned, so is inspiring positivity in others.
What I really want is to get people to see something they've never seen before.
So whenever it seems like we're all in the mood for a melody, this unicycle man tries to get us feeling all right.
Take a break from being stressed for a moment. Take a minute to smile and think about all of the weird and wonderful things that are possible.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Burnaby.
When we come back, we check in with the Canadian curling trials in Halifax and later stacking holiday cheer at this time of year.
All right, welcome back. Time to take a look at the rural forecast for Saturday. And things are looking, they're looking cold. These are daytime highs. -11 in Meadow Lake, -13 in Lloydminster, -12 in Kindersley, -11 in Outlook, making our way towards the eastern side of our map. And as you can see, -9 for Hudson Bay, which is, close to seasonal. And I guess the good news is there's not much in the way of precipitation. There's snow to get in your way of your weekend. Down south, temperatures actually get colder. East End and Cypress Hills area, -16 degrees, but mainly sunny. -15 in Rock Glen, -14 in Cornac, along the, or at least towards the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, -11 in Kenora, Broadview, and Carlisle. So what about Blaine Lake? Well, there we go. We can tell you that they've got themselves a partly cloudy sky tomorrow, mainly cloudy, -12 degrees, winds out of the west at 10, so not much of a wind. Just a reminder that 1 week from today, it is hometown Christmas in Blaine Lake. Lots of things going on, including fireworks, so that should be a lot of fun in Blaine Lake. And Blaine Lake is one of the communities where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
A tough go last night for Saskatchewan's Mike McEwen rink as they were eliminated from Olympic contention at the Canadian Curling Trials in Halifax.
Back 8. Final stone. Matt Dunstone already has a 2. Save it 1. Save it 2. Save it 3. Touch it. They got it.
Matt Dunstone's 3 in the second end was too much to overcome as McEwen lost 9-5 in last night's men's semifinal. Dunstone will face Brad Jacobs' rink in the best of 3 men's final. Dunstone used to skip a team from Saskatchewan, while Regina product Ben Hebert plays for Team Jacobs.
Everest. Jill Brothers calling line. Can you come off and kick it sideways like that? Oh, not enough.
In Game 1 of the women's final, Christina Black couldn't provide a little black magic in the final end, falling 5-4 to Rachel Homan. Game 2 goes tomorrow afternoon. A Homan win would send her team to the Olympics representing Canada. More than a week after their Grey Cup victory, the focus for the Riders is now on free agency as the team has 44 players set to become free agents February 10th. 3 of the starting 5 players in the secondary are under contract for 2026. Roland Milligan Jr., Marcus Sales, and Antoine Brooks, as is middle linebacker Jameer Thurman. Offensively, most starters are set to hit the market except lineman Logan Furlan and receiver Ajo. The contracts of all four quarterbacks are also up in February, although we are expected to hear the status of Trevor Harris soon. The federal government is rolling out major changes to how Canada prepares for disasters, from updated equipment to a new federal operations center. Officials say the upgrades will strengthen emergency management as extreme weather becomes more frequent. CTV's Josh Morano reports.
With more and more destructive weather events, like the 2023 tornado that ripped through Barrhaven, hitting Canadians in recent years, federal officials say it's time for a more modern and coordinated approach when disaster strikes.
We're also focused on enhancing our long-term capacity to prevent, prepare for, respond and recover from disasters.
Inside a new state-of-the-art facility, Public Safety Canada unveiled new measures to improve emergency management nationwide.
We're investing more than $55 million over 4 years to renew the National Public Alert System, which we call NPAS, to ensure that this really important, in fact critical system is available for Canadians in the long term.
The new Government Operations Center is designed to monitor emergencies across the country and direct federal support during major events. It also allows staff to monitor 2 separate events if need be.
We have common procedures, common partners, common ways that we operate, where it doesn't matter to us what the threat or hazard was. What matters to us is how we can coordinate that national response as efficiently and effectively as possible.
The announcement comes months after wildfires burned through Jasper, among the worst in Canadian history. Officials add it's hard to say if these new investments would have limited its impact, but it may have prompted a quicker response.
The practice of emergency management evolves as we learn, and so I think that, again, idea of continuous improvement is really important, and this is the next step forward that enables us to be that much more efficient.
Staff are expected to move into the new building by early January and will be fully operational in the following weeks.
This this is a purpose-built space that makes us not have to improvise those things. And so that enables us to just make more timely decisions to ensure partners are fully engaged and to be able to focus on the response and not necessarily on the logistics of the coordination.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Gold has been breaking records this year. Now silver is following. Marilla Fernandez explains.
All that glitters isn't gold. Silver reached a new high today, lifting mining stocks. Spot silver reached $56.50 US an ounce today. It started the year under $30. It floated Endeavor silver shares almost 13% higher. Aya Gold and Silver up 12%. First Majestic Silver up 11 today. Lower silver inventories have sent prices soaring recently. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.57. West Texas Intermediate crude is down at 55. Western Canadian Select is unchanged today. And the TSX gained 186 points for another record close this week. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up, a Thanksgiving parade in Detroit goes big. Then stacking Christmas cheer and offering a helping hand.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV. Well, last night, of course, we showed you the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York, but in Detroit, they also celebrated the day with a parade. Massive paper mache heads have been a part of the parade since its founding in 1924. The parade company boasts a collection of over 300 big heads, see?
Wow.
Including the likes of very famous people from Detroit, Tom Selleck, Aretha Franklin, and Henry Ford. So it's a lesser-known parade, I guess, but neat nonetheless.
All right, that's pretty cool.
It is.
I think Bob Seger was in there, but that's just me.
Okay, we'll have to rewind and see.
Okay, fair enough.
The Seaside community in New Brunswick has found a creative way to raise money at this time of year. A Christmas tree made from stacked lobster traps has been resurrected in St. Andrews for another year. The tree celebrates the community's fishing heritage, but also supports local organizations. It's adorned with buoys, which are sponsored, with the money going to the food bank. Locals say it is a tourism draw, but it also raises awareness about the need in the community. And it's interesting to see, right? Something
absolutely. And speaking of our colleagues out in Atlantic Canada, I don't know if it's happened yet, but the big Christmas Daddies Telethon, it's a big one of their big charity events out there that's coming up, I think.
So many things out there.
So many things there. I don't know what the weather is like right now. I think they're getting a bit of a break from the weather that we are having right now. Well, believe me, it's not going to be as cold as this in Atlantic Canada. Minus 17 tomorrow at 9 a.m., minus 15 at noon, minus 12 mid-afternoon, and minus 13 by 5 o'clock.
It's going to be chilly.
Chilly indeed.
And just a reminder to be careful on the streets.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, take a little time and give yourself a little bit of extra room.
All right, okay, we talked earlier about all things spun and woven being up for grabs this weekend. The Saskatoon Spinners and Weavers Guild is hosting its fall sale at the MCC building that is on 45th Street West. Everything from clothing and accessories, items for the kitchen, wall art, and more. We're going to show you some pretty creative creations. A lot of time and effort and patience goes into this. So we're going to leave you with some of that, and it's on until Sunday.
On until Sunday, and hey, you might get some, do some of your Christmas shopping early because there's some really lovely and unique items there.
I like those light things just as an idea.
Yes, that's a very good idea. Hint, hint. Okay, fair enough then. And thanks to these people who help us every day, and thanks to you for watching, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yes, be safe and stay warm.